Rangers are all atop their respective divisions. Not sure anyone saw that one coming. Hey everybody, hope you all had a wonderful weekend. Welcome into your Monday edition of Fantasy Focus Baseball. Teamed up with the talented Mr. Roto, Matthew Berry. I'm Molly Chareem.
Whoa. You're Molly Karam.
I am Molly Chareem. That is the proper way to pronounce my last name. So
why all of a sudden now? I've known you as Molly Karam for
Matthew,
3 years.
It's just time. It is time to rep my Albanian people out there.
All right, Chareem it is.
Well, the Padres
Treem a little Treem.
got another quality start from Wade LeBlanc, an ERA under 2, respectable whip. Will he keep his spot once Chris Young returns, and should he be a spot starter in standard mixed leagues?
I actually think he needs to be owned in all mixed leagues. Wade LeBlanc, not Wade LeBlanc, is actually a very good pitcher. He's been one of the best pitchers on the Padres all year. I think he needs to be owned in all 10-team mixed leagues, and when Chris Young comes back, if Chris Young comes back, guy can't stay healthy. The thing is you look at that LeBlanc stare. I like that headline, but the numbers are ridiculous, right? Those 27 strikeouts, by the way, against only 13 walks. That's in 35 innings and 6 starts this year, Molly. He's never given up more than 2 earned runs, and in fact, he's given up 2 earned runs only twice. I mean, quality starts across the board. You love a guy pitching in Petco. One of the reasons you mentioned the surprise about how good the Padres are is that pitching. John Garland's been terrific. Kevin Correa has been solid. Matt Latos has been solid. By the way, he pronounces it Latos, not Latos, as we continue our last name theme. I think Wade LeBlanc actually needs to be owned in all 10-team mixed leagues. I don't think he's just a spot start, and yeah, I think there's no question he stays in the rotation if Chris Young comes back. Someone else will drop out.
Just to clarify, he is still Matthew Berry.
Yes.
The Rockies are 3 games behind the NL West, but they got Jeff Francis back on Sunday, making his first start since 2008. Francis held the Nationals to 1 run over 7 innings. Did you see enough from him, and is it time to take a chance and add him?
I don't think so, Molly. People get all excited about this because he's a big name. He was an all-star. You know, he won like 17 games a couple of years ago. But the thing about Jeff Francis is from a fantasy perspective, he's not that good. I mean, yes, he had a nice start, but it was against the Nationals, and it was a Nationals lineup, by the way. They didn't have Adam Dunn. This is a guy whose career whip is 1.44. In fact, you know, Molly Chareem, that he's never had an ERA under 4. Now, I understand as you look back at some of the stats, Coors is different now, today, than it was sort of back in the day. So that inflated ERA you have to take with a grain of salt. But he was never a huge strikeout guy. Even when Jeff Francis was dealing, he was never a huge strikeout guy. And I got to tell you, I'm not 100% convinced he stays in the rotation once Jorge De La Rosa comes back. My guess is he does, and maybe it's Aaron Cook or maybe it's Yuli Chacin that drops the spot. But other than Ubaldo Jimenez, I don't think there's any spot in that rotation that's a definite guarantee when Jorge De La Rosa comes back. I don't love Francis except for deep NL-only leagues. Bad whip, guy doesn't strike out a lot. Beat the Nats.
Yeah, not so much. A couple of hitters are finding themselves on the comeback as well. 2009, a season to forget for Alex Rios, but he has been on fire, hitting .318 with 7 home runs and 2 steals. Can he continue to play this way, or should you sell high on him?
Well, you know, it's a tough question, right? Because if somebody offers you crazy stuff for Alex Rios, obviously you do it. I don't think any player is untradeable. That said, I'm buying Alex Rios. I liked him as a sleeper in the preseason. Obviously, I'm continuing to. Now, look, he's on pace for 33 home runs, 56 steals, and a .318 average. Obviously, those numbers are going to come down somewhat, but people forget, this is a guy that was almost 2020 last year in a fairly, as you said, disappointing year. He's always had that power-speed combination, and what's different this year is he's striking out a lot less. He's making a little bit more contact. His contact percentage is up. So this is a guy with speed and some power, and if he's striking out less and making more contact, yes, he's getting a little bit lucky, but good things are going to happen. So I believe that the power speed will continue, and maybe not to the extent that we've seen so far, but no, I wouldn't sell high unless you're getting a crazy offer. I do think he will continue to be an elite fantasy outfielder the rest of the year.
Despite the great performance from Alex Rios, which was actually 12 steals, the White Sox find themselves 8 games back of the Twins, and the Tigers are a game and a half back, and they've been making some serious roster moves. Down goes Max Scherzer and Scott Sizemore. So, Matthew, is this a good sign for your guy, Brennan Boesch?
It is indeed. You know, and people, it's actually Bosch. People see the B-O-E and they think
Thank
it's Bosch.
you. This is the name edition of Fantasy Focus.
But it's actually Brennan Bosch, and I like Brennan Bosch a lot, hitting .380 since he's come up. Remember, he's only been up for 3 weeks, and in fact, in the last 2 weeks on the ESPN Player Radar, only Miguel Cabrera among Tigers is higher. kid is absolutely raking, and that's what this move is when they send Scott Sizemore down, they're saying, look, when Carlos Guillen comes off the DL, he's going to play second base because we want to keep Bosch's bat in the lineup. He's available in 60% of ESPN.com leagues, on pace for a 23 home run, 143 RBI season. I don't think it's going to be that big, and I do think the average will come down some, but he's definitely going to hit for power. He's definitely going to have some RBIs. He needs to be owned in all 10-team mixed leagues. I really like this kid, and I'm not the only one. So does Detroit.
Might not be a bigger name than Chris Bosh, though.
No, he's not a bigger name than, of course, the Toronto Raptors, soon to be someone, anyone but a Toronto Raptor.
Beat up right now. The troubles of David Ortiz have been well documented, hitting 143 in April, but it's May and he's turned things around. Big Poppy's hitting 333 with 5 home runs. Matthew, do you take a gamble on him again?
No, burn me once, shame on me. Burn me twice. Burn me once, shame on you. Burn me twice, shame on me. I'd rather have Tito Ortiz at this point. Listen, I understand the numbers. I get it. He's been ridiculous in May. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs. You see the numbers right there on your screen. He's 59th on our player rater. But check out these numbers, right? 264 in 08, 238 in 09, 224 this year. That's his batting average. Then even if the power comes back, he's still going to hit for a very low average, and there are guys out there that have his power potential that aren't as detrimental to your batting average. He only qualifies at utility. Maybe this is a spike. I mean, we saw him last year, right? We saw him struggle early on, and then he got hot, and he had a great from June on, and so maybe we're seeing it a little bit early this year, but at what cost is that power? I think there are other options out there that won't hurt your batting average as much, that have the same power potential as Big Poppy.
Another DH option that has been disappointing is Jason Kubel of the Twins, but on Sunday he rocked the Yankees and Mariano Rivera for a go-ahead grand slam. Matthew hitting 364 over the last 7 days. Is he a good buy low option?
I think he is, actually. I think Kubel's a nice question there, right? I really like him a lot. He's hit over 20 home runs each of the last 2 years. And the other thing that I like about Kubel, right, is you look at the underlying numbers, he's actually walking more this year, right? His walk percentage is up to 15% this year. The previous 2 seasons where he had very good years, it was just under 10. So, a career 275 hitter, I think his average will come up. I think he's going to finish with between 20-25 home runs. I think he's a real nice opportunity to buy low on Jason Kubel. We all believe that Target Field, the new Twins ballpark, is going to play a bit like a bandbox, especially once it gets warmer. Remember, the second fewest amount of foul territory of any ballpark in baseball. So if you hit it, chances are it's going in the field or going out of the ballpark.
Matthew, it's Monday, which means it's time for you to do a little social service and help the owners out. The Athletics added someone, and should owners?
Yes, I believe so. Jack Cuss came up from AAA, Molly, and I think he can, we talked about David Ortiz earlier in the show, right, about power potential with not as much batting average risk. And Jack Cuss, I think, is a perfect example. This is a guy that's hit at least 25 home runs each of the last 3 seasons. A bit of a surprise in spring training when they sent him down. But look, I don't think he's a great hitter, obviously, but in leagues where you count on base percentage, I think he will help you. He's hit 241 over the last 3 years. Not great at all, but certainly won't kill you if you can deal with the power. So I think he's a guy to add in 12-team mixed leagues or deeper, and certainly a guy to look at in 10-team mixed leagues. He's going to play every day. He's been playing outfield every day since he's been recalled by the A's. Incidentally, Kurt Suzuki also activated up the DL. He's available in about 50% of ESPN.com leagues. If you have hurt a catcher, we like him as well for double-digit power.
Matthew, thanks so much. Remember, you can follow us all season long. The Twitter address, we tweet, you heard it, ESPN_fantasy. Matthew, I'll let you close it out with our names.
That's right. I'm Matthew Berry. She's Molly Chareem.
That is right.
Chareem, right?
Yes. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.